Hello traders and welcome to another video review. Today is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. Let's take a look at the economic calendar for today. So today there isn't any high important data release. Nevertheless, we got some data overnight, and one is quite important. People's Bank of China loan prime rate has been set at the level of 3% as expected. Retail sales in Poland are scheduled for at 9:30, and then we have the German President Joachim Nagel to give a speech at 1 o'clock. Later on, we got the CPI and core CPI data from Canada, scheduled for release at 2:30. Then we have some speeches from the ECB President Christine Lagarde at 2:30. 30 minutes later, we got Fed weather speech. And 4:10 we got ECB Lane to give a speech as well. Otherwise, there isn't any data releases for today. So without any further ado, let's switch to the charts, and we start with euro dollar. This is 30-minute chart of the euro dollar. As you can see, we bounced a little bit overnight. Nevertheless, when we switch to 4-hour time frame chart, we can see bullish engulfing pattern into the extremely oversold conditions, right? So the low of this pattern was 1.1419. So we broke below the technical support at 1.1445 as we bounced a little bit higher, as the wave Y of our let's say Elliott wave development, Elliott wave cycle is still in progress. It looks like this is not a impulsive wave to the upside, because sooner or later this low here, that was an initial beginning of the whole impulsive structure, 1.1490, will be briefly violated sooner or later. And this 99.9% correction is very, very rare, so it means that this is not impulse. This is something else going on. Possibly we are still developing some part of a more complex and time-consuming corrective cycle on the euro dollar. Nevertheless, please keep an eye on this low, 1.1412. This is exactly the low, 1.1412, for any violation. British pound just bounced from the technical support at 1.3162, as you can see, and we just a little bit above the level. Right now, almost no volatility on the market. Now this situation here is very, very interesting, because we went as low as 1.3162, which is the low for the whole range here. As you can see, there you go. This is the beginning of the range. That's one very important technical support in case of a breakout. The other one is the low from 2025, 1.3 exactly. So despite the fact that we moved a little bit higher, even sometimes towards 1.3656, we reversed 100% of this movement to the upside. So bearish pressure on cable. You can see it on the daily as well. We didn't even cross the level of 50 on a daily time frame chart. So bears are in charge of the British pound. We should see lower levels. US dollar versus the Japanese yen is moving higher as expected. There is nothing that can stop it. We are still trading inside of this range, this funny range from the last week, 1.6098, 1.6182. I said funny range because it was made after this big pin bar at the top of the move was created. So that situation here, it tells us the bulls are still in charge of the market, despite the initial weakness into the 160.97. The market a little bit consolidated a little bit, and now it's rallying back higher. Next target 162, and the other round number. Gold market is trying to bounce a little bit, but as you can see, it doesn't actually works very well, because the situation here is still very, very weak for the beginning of the of the trading week, and movement to the downside is very likely to continue, despite the fact that we just bounced from the extremely oversold conditions. The nearest technical resistance is located at 4,269, just below this this trend line. As you can see, we got the breakout here, but it looks like a false breakout, big reversal here, big movement to the downside, and now we are keep moving lower, and lower. First low for the wave Y, as the end of the whole correction structure is now in place. This is $4,023. Nevertheless, there is still weakness on this market, and the gold doesn't want to rally higher whatsoever. S&P 500 looks very similar after the initial movement to the upside. It doesn't actually look that good anymore, and the market keeps looking bearish and bearish. We got this short-term blue trend line here on this chart. I just put on. What's that? That's my other line. There you go. And we got the local high of the rebound, and this local high ended at 7,578, which means this is still our highest level, right? 7,620. So anything below this level is basically bearish. Nevertheless, let me just move my low here. There you go, 7,224. Nevertheless, we have a very clear range here established, but with that kind of a momentum that is barely bouncing from the sub 50 levels, doesn't actually looks very bullish in the short term. Maybe another leg to the downside will be made soon. Crude oil still trades below the level of 80 major technical resistance. It opened a little bit to the upside. Nevertheless, it's falling lower. Again, the local low is 73.57, which is a very low number, and the volatility is very big here, because between this high here and this low here is over $6. Obviously, we are bouncing from the extremely oversold conditions back towards the level of 50. Nevertheless, as you can see, the market is still under the bearish pressure, and any bounce above the $80 per barrel is welcome. Obviously, will be considered bullish. However, nothing like this happened just yet. The blue rectangle is still some old retail gap to the downside. Sooner or later, this gap will be filled, obviously, but for now, crude oil market is under the bearish pressure. And the Bitcoin, as you can see, doesn't do anything spectacular since the low at 60,000. Oh, it's even 59,130. We bounced a little bit here towards this level. Let me just place a line here. I think we can do it because it's from the last week. So we local high or like a bounce high was 67,272. So this is the local technical resistance. Then, as you can see, another leg to the downside happened. Then we have another reaction. But right now, look at the momentum. Momentum oscillates around the level of 50. So neither bulls nor bears, they don't know what to do. And we are just bouncing around 64,000. We are just trading around the $64,000. So for now, obviously, in the background, there is clear downtrend. Nevertheless, it looks like the market wants to move a little bit sideways. They want to, let's say, see what is going on in this area between 60 and 60, let's say, $67,000. To see what is going on. That's a quite nice situation here, because the movement from the lows to the highs is roughly around, I think it's 10% or something like 13%, almost 14%. So nice bounce from the extreme low to the extreme high. Nevertheless, it is not enough for the overall movement on this market, because obviously in the background the downtrend is way bigger, way more dynamic. So this movement to the upside is pretty good beginning, but it doesn't actually look like the bears are out of the ammo for the current situation. So we should see, after some period of the consolidation sideways market, we should see another leg to the downside. And the next bigger target in the medium term is, or maybe even in the short term, actually, when this 59,000 is violated, the next one is 54,000 dollars. That's everything from me for today. Thank you very much for watching this analysis, and I hope I see you guys next time. Take care and bye bye.